unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Ryan Garcia seems to be unhappy with how he's been treated with Golden Boy Promotions. Meanwhile, Gervonta Tank Davis got a star-studded welcome at the Baltimore Ravens home game, and I want to talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats, channel donations, and Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, I thought this is just a random topic I was thinking about. Ryan Garcia had released a series of tweets. I made videos on it. I'm not going to really like read them verbatim and stuff. And I want to talk about it. He was expressing his concern, and he was upset with his promotion and the way they've been handled. He was saying things to the effect of Golden Boy doesn't really got to have his back. He did like a impromptu mini press conference. A couple media reporters were there, and they did a conference call with, you know, another reporter that was on the phone, and it was Ryan Garcia, his mom, dad, and his advisor, Guadalupe or whatever. And in it, they're all talking about what happened with the Avery Sparrow situation. And between that and the series of tweets, bottom line is this: Avery Sparrow got arrested by U.S. Marshals for some non-related, you know, crime or infraction, whatever they were looking for him for. I don't really know too much. I heard some stuff, but I'm not going to put it out like that because I don't think it's been reported as, you know, fact. So whatever. Avery Sparrow, that was the guy that Ryan Garcia was supposed to fight, and his fight got canceled as a result. Now, according to sources, they said that Golden Boy knew that there was potential danger with the opponent they've selected, which is Usher's, you know, I guess Usher's promoting fighters, Avery Sparrow. They said on Tuesday or Wednesday, Golden Boy was informed that he got in some legal trouble, and apparently the U.S. Marshals were looking in gyms trying to locate him because that's where the fight was due to take place in Southern California. And Golden Boy, for whatever reason, didn't have a solid confirmed plan B, and Ryan Garcia went to the weigh-in. Avery Sparrow had gotten arrested that morning, and Ryan Garcia said he was left in the dark in the whole situation. He weighed in, made weight, had a regular training camp, and at the weigh-in, he even said something to the effect of, I don't know where Avery Sparrow is. He was talking a lot of trash online. Why didn't he show up? Somebody phoned Avery Sparrow. So he, you know, it looked pretty obvious that he didn't know that Avery Sparrow and his fight got canceled. So to me, that's already a weird situation. You got a star. I would say Ryan Garcia behind Canelo is probably the biggest star that Golden Boy has. I mean, if not him, who? Name someone. Maricela Cornejo, she just lost again to the same girl, Franchon Cruz. Mauricio Herrera lost. Virgil Ortiz is kind of up and coming, but he doesn't have he's a good fighter, really good fighter. He don't have the fanfare that Ryan Garcia has. So it's weird that this was your chief support, your co-feature, and for whatever reason, you didn't have something solid lined up for him as a plan B. It just looks kind of disorganized. And I don't know why you would do that to someone who's as popular. Whether you think Ryan Garcia has the skills to beat Devin Haney, you know, because they traded wins and losses and stuff in the amateurs, that none of that matters. He's popular. That's the bottom line, you know. And then as far as him stepping up in competition, we'll have to see where he's at once he fights a bigger name, or, you know, whoever, Duno or Devin Haney or Tank or whoever, you know, that remains to be seen. But what doesn't remain to be seen is that he's popular. People follow him. He has a following. He has like 3 million plus followers. So it's weird that Golden Boy like kind of half step. And then when Avery Sparrow got pulled and the fight got canceled, they were scrambling last minute to try to find someone to face him. And this is your chief support to a lackluster, what turned out to be a lackluster fight. And, you know, on paper, it wasn't. No one even knew who Jaime Munguia was fighting. You know, Patrick Alati. You know, really weird. But meanwhile, Franchon Cruz, who recently signed women's boxing champion, she was supposed to fight a girl, and her opponent got visa passport issues. So her fight got canceled, and somehow on 2 days' notice, Golden Boy was able to replace that with Maricela Cornejo, right, and get Franchon's fight to go through. But Ryan Garcia was saying he don't have a fight. He's not fighting. He didn't fight. He don't know if he's getting paid, and he feels that it was a wasted training camp. So it's almost like there's obviously something else going on. I don't know if Ryan Garcia is trying to leave and they got wind of it, or their wires are crossed. It's very apparent to see, because there's no reason that you would have someone as popular as him that is this lashing out publicly and saying they're trying to set him up and they don't really have my back like that. And this has just been a very hectic, tumultuous week for Golden Boy, and a strained relationship with Ryan Garcia. I mean, he's doing like little man-made impromptu press conferences with no Golden Boy representation, and just his immediate team, immediate family, and advisor. The fact that he hired this new advisor, it just sounds like something's up. And I don't know all the details, but I'm sure we'll find out shortly if he is able to get out of contract or leave. Maybe that's it. Maybe he's like putting up hey, they don't got my back. This is a breach of contract. Whatever. They said I was going to fight a certain amount of times and I'm not getting the looks that I want. The other thing is, like, according to this little impromptu press conference that they did, Ryan Garcia's family and advisor, Golden Boy being they, were trying to get him to fight Romero Duno, who's a power puncher, last minute notice, and making it look like Ryan Garcia turned down the fight, or his team turned down the fight, because they thought Duno was too tough. So I don't know the truth. People was try to save face, or maybe he really, according to him, Ryan Garcia said he was down to fight Duno, but he asked for a fraction more money based on the mishap and the drop ball and everything like that. And he says Golden Boy refused. So just a really weird situation. And I wanted to kind of contrast versus another person kind of in that age group who's a very popular star in Gervonta Tank Davis. So on one hand, you have Ryan Garcia, who's saying, man, my promoter's not looking out for me. They try to set me up. They try to make it look like I was pussy and duck Duno, and Duno's wearing Stop Running Ryan shirts. And it looks like, from the outside looking in, it looks like they're more behind these other guys who really aren't as popular as Ryan Garcia than Ryan Garcia. So I feel like something has to be up. There was another name that was mentioned for Ryan Garcia, Petrov or whoever. And according to Ryan Garcia's dad, they wanted him to fight this Petrov dude on a day or two notice at a higher weight, like a higher weight class, like 9.5 pounds or so, almost 10 pounds heavier than where Ryan campaigns. And he's like, why? This is supposed to be your hot up and coming prospect. He's very popular. He's clean cut, all this shit. And this is the guy you keep saying is the greatest in the future of boxing, the next kind of Golden Boy. Why does it seem like you're not on our side, and Petrov's not even your fighter, and it's like you're almost sabotaging or setting him up? That's how it sounds like they feel. Why do you want him to fight Duno, a power puncher, so bad with ill preparation, or fight this Petrov guy, last minute at a weight that might benefit Petrov or more than him? It just seems weird. Like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe Ryan Garcia's getting out of his contract. I don't know. Something's up, but it does seem really weird and kind of mystic. Even the fact that they're doing a press conference and openly bashing their promoter. You don't really see stuff like, usually stuff like this is handled behind closed doors unless it gets really bad. You get what I'm saying? Like Vanes Martirosyan recently, he kind of said a couple things about Al Haymon, but then he went to Don King after, he got the Triple G fight. He was with Don King for that fight, and then after he got knocked out, then he started bad-mouthing Don King, saying it was a fixed fight and he wasn't paid right, and Don King owes him money and stuff. So it just sounds real crazy when these situations make this much public noise. How it has to get bad, like almost like Andre Ward versus Goosen. Rest in peace to Goosen. But it's come to a head when all these issues no longer can be handled behind closed doors and we publicly hear about it. The other thing that's weird to me is Canelo Alvarez expressed frustration, and they're in the same gym, so I don't know if that has something to do with it. They got the same trainer, Eddie and Chepo Reynoso. stuff like that. So I don't know if they're all kind of banding together and talking about, and you know, sometimes you get with certain people at work or whatever that you see daily and complain about the same things, like, man, our manager's an asshole, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Maybe Canelo's team gamed them up and said, hey, they're getting you, you know, you're worth a lot more money than what you're receiving. And they said that the DAZN paid a licensing fee or something of almost $1 million, and Ryan Garcia, this is not the fight that got canceled, but before that, because he was the main event earlier this year, they said Ryan Garcia got $50,000 and he was the top of the bill. So something's going on, and it seems like Golden Boy has had a lot of issues since Richard Schaefer left, in my opinion. And like I said, a couple months back, Canelo was pissed, like visibly, and he made a tweet. He released a tweet saying the matchmaker made decisions without consulting me, and I was trying to fight Derevyanchenko, and I didn't know about this deadline that they agreed to without the IBF, without my consent, and this is like basically BS. And Canelo was pissed that the Kovalev fight fell through and Kovalev was fighting Yard, because Kovalev almost got stopped by Yard. That hurt Canelo, because had Canelo fought Kovalev, you know, and straight away, then we wouldn't have to worry about that. So the fact that Kovalev was nearly stopped, I think most people realize Kovalev only has a few fights left in him, you know, but he's still vulnerable to the same things. So the fact that Anthony Yard going from that much inexperience to stepping up to a Kovalev hurt Kovalev that bad, even though he was eventually stopped. I think that kind of hurt, even though Canelo's coming up, it still kind of hurt the fight, because just like Wilder versus Tyson Fury's last performance was very lackluster, and it's to the point where it hurts the Wilder rematch as opposed to if Fury never got hurt versus Otto Wilder. So, you know, Canelo was visibly frustrated as well with Golden Boy. You know, he was saying like things weren't ran by me, and how come you knew I wanted to fight on the Mexican dates? You know, you knew I wanted to fight on the Mexican dates. How come you couldn't get my opponent handled and selected in time? It's just really weird stuff. Now, on the flip side, and I have to bring this up, new media style, Gervonta Tank Davis last year was like, he wasn't as active as normal. He fought one time a year. Eddie Hearn was trying to like coax him and convince him to come to DAZN. But again, with this whole situation with someone in his age group, Ryan Garcia, the way he's been handled and what he's saying publicly, it sounds like he feels his promoters working against him, and he doesn't sound content at all. Like, just go look through his Twitter and watch the videos with him and his family and his advisor. Now, on the flip side, when Tank was inactive, people were saying he should run over to DAZN. And this is proof to me that the grass is not always greener on the other side. You get what I'm saying? Because Gervonta Tank Davis, just yesterday, he was at, I believe, the Baltimore Ravens' first home game. And somebody from Baltimore hit me up and said since 1996, the Ravens have sold out like most of their games or all their games. And there were 70, 80,000 people, and Tank was there for the coin toss. That's big exposure. Shout out to Premier Boxing Champs, PBC, and Fox. And, you know, 80,000 people getting to see a kid from Baltimore in Baltimore. They're all kind of, you know, when it comes to football, a lot of people are territorial. Like, not everybody. I know some people, like, shout out to my dude Blue Blood. He's in New York, but he's a fan of the Niners. So that happens occasionally. But some people are territorial, and they're from LA, so they like the Rams, you know. They root for it. Like, I'm from the Bay, so San Francisco 49ers has been my team since I was a kid. You get what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So it's just cool to see Baltimore fans get to see a Baltimore kid who's a boxer and him get that type of exposure. They're playing his highlight reel on that's huge, man. That's huge. That's 80,000 people with an experience live. You know, they're eating hot dogs and garlic fries and stuff like that, ready for a game. And even if they like sports in general or combat sports, but they didn't know too much about Tank Davis, that's a moment in time, encapsulated in time, that you may remember him now if you didn't know too much about him. Like, oh man, I remember we went to that Ravens game, you know. Or if Tank, as he gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you can be like, man, I went to a Ravens game and he was there, you know, I seen him or whatever. So I think it just helps people identify with you and connect. It's just overall great exposure. He's supposed to come back in December. So I wanted to make this video. I'm not going to keep it much longer than this, but it's a clear, concise demonstration video of, like I said, the grass is not always greener. People were saying that Tank should run over to DAZN when he's with Mayweather Promotions and PBC, and he didn't really have any problems with that. I mean, of course, I think him and Mayweather had little hiccups and stuff like that, but they were trying to use that to get Tank to switch sides, and that's not always the ticket, because there's someone else that has been rumored to spar or maybe fight with Tank in the future in Ryan Garcia, and he's with DAZN, and he feels underpaid. He said, I'm asking for a fraction more, and they won't budge. They won't give it to me. And I was down to fight Duno. He's an easy fight for me. So I don't see Tank complaining about this same stuff. I don't see Tank complaining that he's begging Mayweather and PBC for a fraction more, and they not paying him. They lowballing him, and they trying to set him up and put him in with a fighter who's 10 pounds heavier. So there's some real life issues that Golden Boy is going to have to probably try to resolve, and resolve as quietly as possible, because to me this is not a good look. And it's looking like people like Deontay Wilder, Errol Spence, Gervonta, Tank Davis, who have all been kind of requested by Golden Boy, or Oscar has put out little tweets like, oh, hey, Wilder, come to DAZN, come to Golden Boy. You know, it's looking like they made the right decision, you know, until it's, who wants to sign somewhere where two of the biggest stars within one faction, within Golden Boy, Canelo and Ryan Garcia, they're the biggest people on Golden Boy, and they've both openly expressed public frustrations about how they've been promoted, or certain people, you know, the president of Golden Boy, or the matchmaker, or De La Hoya, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's not enticing for people. Canelo saying the matchmaker did this, which is Robert Diaz. Eric Gomez, the president, who's been longtime friends with De La Hoya, had made a comment that Ryan Garcia's team, Eddie Reynoso, presumably said that Duno was too tough of an opponent last minute. And then Ryan Garcia saying, my trainer never said that. So something's up. Let me know what you guys think. I had to talk about this. We unpack. Drop your thoughts in the comment section, and let me know what you guys think. Where does DAZN and Golden Boy go from here? But to me, this is not a good, all this drama and shit that we've seen on DAZN and fight pullout, none of this is good for building subscriptions. You know, Canelo being pissed, and Usyk and Gassiev getting injured, and Gerald Miller failing drug tests, and Joshua losing, and Katie Taylor not doing an immediate rematch and moving out the division after becoming undisputed and losing her last fight, but they still gave. These things aren't good for building the platform. So I really feel like DAZN and Golden Boy have to band together and figure this out to generate long-term success in boxing. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. We Unpack coming to you live. Let me know what you guys think of the Ryan Garcia situation, and also the press and popularity that Gervonta Tank Davis is gaining. I was at his fight in Baltimore, and it was turned, and that was his first home fight since he's really been on top, you know, definitely since he's been a champion. And I was at the fight, you know, shout out to my dude Tank. It was lit. Trust me, it was lit. Baltimore came out, it was thick. Like, and the one thing I like is I've been to several fights at this point, big and small, and I've been in people's cities and shit. Tank, the Baltimore fight, you know, it's just good to see the city chill out, because Baltimore has some crime and stuff like that. Everybody chilled out. There was no like real issues or violence or anything that I was aware of. But the people showed up for the early, because there was other people from Baltimore on the undercard, you know, like Malik and different people like that. So the card filled out quick, like before the main event. Sometimes you see people start filling that in the crowd. It looked empty as fuck until like the co-feature and then the main event. But this wasn't the case in Baltimore. The undercard, since they had so many people from Baltimore fighting on the undercard, the shit was filled out for the, you know, pretty much the whole event, and you could see no empty seats. So very good stuff, promotional from Tank and his team. The city of Baltimore looks like they love him and stand behind him. You know, it's good to see, because a place like Baltimore is rough. You know, I could tell just from being there for a week. I can tell it has some rough areas and spots. You know, some of the dope heads, like base heads and shit, look like zombies and all types of shit. So it's good to see people band together and support someone doing it the right way and doing what they're supposed to be doing with their life, when there's so many ways that you can get pulled in the wrong direction in places like that. You know, you can easily flip a brick or, you know, get crossed up in some shit you shouldn't be in. So it's good to see Tank being a positive role model for his city and getting the exposure with the Ravens. That stuff should keep him out of trouble. Let me know what you guys think. We working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.